August 7th and Val Phillips.
It's gotta be masked
Oh.
up. You got one?
Yeah, I got one.
Man, we just gotta be tight over here.
Yeah, no, for sure, 100%. Let's do this. Give me a sec, guys. I gotta put a mask on. So if you guys are just tuning in and weren't on the last stream, we're at a fallen firefighter memorial. Live here in Milwaukee. So they do have a speaker system, so we should be able to hear everything. Yeah, Joe. Can I ask a quick question? Is there a specific firefighter that we're memorializing today, or is it?
It's just all of them. It's Fire Prevention Week.
Okay.
So all the firefighters who have died in the line of duty, this is kind of their day of remembrance. So not one specifically, but all
Good
the
morning,
names
everyone.
that are around.
We're going to get started in a few minutes
on
here,
that,
so if you could please start to
on the
find a
marble
seat.
there
I
are all
appreciate it. Thank you.
firefighters here in Milwaukee who have died in the line of duty.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Great. Thank you so much. All right, Joe. So, just kind of a general thing. I will take some video of those fire personnel's names when this is done.
You know what? I listened to some of it last night. How many did you go? Yeah, I listened to it for about an hour.
I do have a list of firefighters' names as well in this program that they gave me. So I'll take some pictures of that and post it on the Never Stop page later on.
Oh, yeah? Yeah, there was a...
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, honored guests, fellow firefighters, and most importantly, families of our fallen. On behalf of the Milwaukee Fire Department, I'd like to welcome you to our 24th annual Fallen Firefighter Memorial Recognition Ceremony. COVID has become a constant challenge which has forced us to adjust to ever-changing landscapes. Unfortunately, this ceremony is not exempt from that change. We ask that masks remain on and social distancing is observed throughout the program. And while you will notice that the program is different than a traditional ceremony, we felt it important to continue the tradition of honoring those who paid the ultimate sacrifice serving the city of Milwaukee. To begin our ceremony, I'd like to introduce Pastor Mose Fuller for the opening prayer. Pastor.
Good morning to everyone. A firefighter's prayer. When sirens sound, when I respond, when urgency is there, I ask, oh God, that you would heed a firefighter's prayer. When I encounter any scene with smoke and flame and force, help me to hear the faintest cry and then locate its source. Help me to work effectively, extinguishing the flame, protecting lives and property, regardless of names. Please keep me focused on my task and help me to be brave, to give the very best in me, to rescue and save. And should it be through circumstance, my life you cannot spare, surround my family with your love and keep them in your everlasting care. Amen.
Thank you, Pastor. At this time, I'd ask you to rise for the posting of the colors. Commander, on your call. You may be seated. At this time, I'd like to introduce the mayor of our city, Mayor Tom Bear, for a few words.
Good morning. As we gather for this 24th annual recognition, we all recognize that the circumstances under which we're meeting this year make this by far the most unique memorial service that we've had. And I want to thank Chief Rolfing and the fire department for continuing this tradition, because it's such an important tradition and such an important civic function that each year we remember those individuals who made the ultimate sacrifice, who gave their lives to make sure that we can live peacefully in the community that we all call home. I also think it's appropriate that we're meeting again this year, because I think in addition to the incredible work that the Milwaukee firefighters have done in fighting fires, in responding to emergency calls, this year they've taken up a new role. And that is to be an incredibly important partner to our health department and others in fighting the COVID pandemic. What I've been incredibly impressed by over the last 6 months is the agility, the speed, the professionalism in which the firefighters have continued to do their daily work that's so important to this community, while at the same time joining the ranks of those who are doing everything they can to end this pandemic scourge. So I want to thank all the firefighters for all the work that they have done in their traditional roles, in the roles in making sure that our homes are safe, in responding to accidents, but also this year in helping us with the pandemic. We all know that every time that bell goes off, that siren goes off, an individual is literally putting their lives on the line. Because they do not know exactly what they're responding to. They don't know the situation they're walking into. And at a time when the rest of us, the normal citizens, if I can call us that, are running from a building or a crash scene or a tragedy, it's our firefighters who are running toward the scene. And that takes a bravery, that takes professionalism, that takes training, and that takes teamwork. And I have been so impressed by the teamwork that I have seen in the Milwaukee Fire Department. I also want to take this opportunity, and I may have other opportunities this month, I may not have other opportunities this month, but to thank Chief Rolfing for his 10.5 years service with the Milwaukee Fire Department. It seems only yesterday that he came into my office and we discussed his background, his family, his career, and he made the decision, and we made the decision that he would be a good fit for Milwaukee. And over the last 10.5 years, he has done a very, very solid job in leading this department. He has been a great leader for this department and for this city. And as you head toward a well-deserved retirement, Chief Rolfing, I want to thank you on behalf of the residents of the city and on behalf of myself for everything you've done. Your steady manner, your professionalism, your ability to work with others, I think are all traits that many of us could learn from. So again, let's take today, let's thank the Chief for his service, but let's remember those men and women who made the ultimate sacrifice for our community and our families. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. At this time, I'd like to introduce Council President Cavalier Johnson to say a few words.
Well, good morning. It's a beautiful day in Milwaukee, and I am pleased to be able to join you all here today as we come together to remember the fallen firefighters who have served our city over time. I want to acknowledge as well my colleagues who are present and joining us, not just Mayor Barrett, but also Alderman Borkowski, Alderman Spiker, Chief Rolfing, of course, who's retiring, and thank you, Chief, as well for your service, Chief Brunson, President Bongiorno, as well as the distinguished members of the Milwaukee Fire Department who are joining us here today. It's not just on behalf of myself, but on behalf of all the members of the Milwaukee Common Council that I want to come here just to say thank you. And thank you for a number of things. After all, it's the brave women and men of this department who run into harm's way in order to preserve life in the face of deadly flames. And we do that on a constant basis throughout the year, and we thank you for that. After all, it's you, the people who serve in this department on the front lines of a department that's got morphing responsibilities. No longer are you just responding to fires, but you are day in and day out responding to coronavirus and responding to overdoses and a number of medical issues that citizens in our community face on a daily basis. And so for that, I say thank you. And it's you guys, it's members of the fire department led by Chief Rolfing, who are doing something that all of us should be looking to do in this community, and that's promote regionalism. When you look at the way that fire departments in southeastern Wisconsin and the Milwaukee area have been able to work together, that's something that all of us should be striving to do in all levels of government and so many other places. And the fire department has led on that, and that's in large part thanks to the leadership provided by Chief Rolfing. So Chief and members, thank you for that. Again, not to take up too much time, I just wanted to come here to say thank you for all that you've done, and especially to those who have served so well and have sacrificed so much over the course of the history of this fire department's operation in our city. Thank you very much.
Thank you, President Johnson. At this time, I'd like to introduce the Chief of Milwaukee Fire Department, Chief Mark Rolfing.
I'm going to well, you know what? I think I'm okay with my mask on. First of all, I want to thank the mayor and the council president for their kind words. And I want to wish everybody a warm welcome, our Milwaukee firefighters, Alderman Burkowski, Spiker, certainly President Johnson. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And we have Chief Brunson. Thank you for being here with the MFB command staff. And I see we have Sheriff Lucas. Thank you for attending today. President Bongiorno will be saying a few words. Thank you for your presence. As it already been noted, that this is a difficult year. 2020 has been challenging. It's been unique, and it's changed the way that we operate. It changes the way that, we go to dinner and so many things. And this certainly looks a little different than it has in the past. I just want to make the point, though, that we're here today, thanks to the work of the Honor Guard and to remember and honor the 141 firefighters who've given their lives in the service of the Milwaukee Fire Department in the city of Milwaukee. We decided to have the service today in spite of the pandemic because, as the mayor said, how important it is that we reflect, remember, and take a moment to pray for those who've given their lives while in service. I always look at the ceremony also as an opportunity to remind us that we work in a hazardous profession, where at any time our members can be put in harm's way serving our citizens. As I prepared my remarks today, every year I think, what should I say? And today, a couple days ago, I asked myself, what have we gained from the sacrifice of these men and women? Today, we're just not here to honor their deaths and their sacrifice, but we're also here to thank them for their contribution to our knowledge and ultimately our safety. Their deaths help provide us with valuable lessons so other firefighters wouldn't die in similar situations. So we're not here just to honor them, but we're also here to thank them for making our department better and a little bit safer. We all know that we learn from our mistakes and misfortunes. Matter of fact, that's probably where our most valuable lessons come from. In the fire service, we depend on learning from past incidents and especially firefighter deaths. Our lives depend on us taking those lessons and making the necessary changes. The 141 fallen firefighters, along with countless other fallen firefighters throughout our country over the past 100 plus years, have provided us with a wealth of information that we've used in the fire service to make us better, more efficient, but more safer. We have better equipment. We communicate better. Our command practices are better. And most importantly, we've worked to change our culture to significantly reduce the fire deaths that we have in the United States. We continue to face issues and problems that cause firefighter deaths, but we work, we continue to meet those challenges head on and diligently so we can eliminate or reduce fire deaths in our service. Unfortunately, we still have more work to do. The lessons we learned at times are simple. They're painstakingly simple. Believe it or not, it's safer to ride in a chair with a seatbelt on an apparatus than it is to stand on the tailboard hanging onto a rod. We now know that if we simply wear our SCBA, our self-contained breathing apparatus, a little longer through that overhaul phase, we're protected from a myriad of off-gassing chemicals. carcinogens and things that do terrible things to us. Right now, during our COVID pandemic, simply by wearing masks, goggles, and a gown, we can keep our firefighters safe. At other times, the causes of firefighter deaths are very complicated. Strange cancers, heart disease, accumulated stress. The good news is, though, we're studying those issues. And with significant studies and time, we've learned we can protect our firefighters even from these complex and silent killers. Better mental health, better physical health, better protective gear, washing our clothes, washing ourselves. The death of a firefighter takes a heavy toll on the family, on the department, and on the community. So I ask our firefighters every year to make a commitment to help us work harder, to take care of one another, to make sure we don't have to suffer the effects of an on-duty firefighter death. The job of working to keep our firefighters safe is never-ending, and I ask everyone to remain vigilant, whether they're in the engine house, whether we're on an emergency run, or whether we're on the training ground. Every year, I ask our firefighters to honor those who've given their lives by working to keep each other and themselves physically and mentally healthy and ready to serve our citizens. And most importantly, we honor them by not adding another name to the memorial. I want to thank our Milwaukee firefighters, past and present, for the outstanding job they do. Each one deserves our praise and recognition. I think what the mayor said when I think about 2020 and I think about all the things that we've been doing with the COVID pandemic, and we've gone from special COVID med units to testing in the health department to knocking on doors and giving slips. It's really been amazing to see how the Milwaukee Fire Department has stepped up to help out in this pandemic. So I ask us, let's never forget the 141 brothers and sisters who gave their lives while serving for the Milwaukee Fire Department. Let's not forget the lessons they taught us by their sacrifice. I thank God for their dedication, their courage, and their strength. And I ask God each morning to bless each of us, every Milwaukee firefighter who continues the hard work of serving our citizens with courage, honor, and integrity. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. For our final speaker, I'd like to introduce Local 215 President Mike Bongiorno.
Thank you, Chief Schwengel. Every year I start this with a couple comments. I don't know whether to wear sunglasses or reading glasses. The other comment is, we have an amazing honor guard, and I just am so thankful every time I come to this ceremony or another ceremony. We are here to honor our fallen, and what better way to start with our honor guard? And they do a fabulous job. Chief Ralphing, Local 215 wants to congratulate you on a long and wonderful career, and thank you for your service here in the city of Milwaukee. Like Chief Ralphing, I prepared this speech, and I prepared it today at our Union Hall, where we have a list of the names. I wanted to get a little feeling from it, so I just looked at it for a while, and what came to mind was safety. And Chief Otis might laugh at this because every once in a while the Chief will say a speech and then I'll say something, and then Chief Otis will ask if we've done our speeches together. We wrote them together, but it's kind of what my speech is about today, my words. As a union representative of our members, the The safety of our members weighs heavy on me every day. When I look at the young men and women who work for us, they remind me of me 27 years ago when I came on the fire department, eager and willing to do amazing things for our community. Pastor Mose Fuller, you may understand this better than anyone. When I came on, there was one radio. One member of the crew had a radio. Now we each have a radio. We shared our face pieces. Think about that in the time of COVID. We would leave work. You would have a face piece, and then I would wear the same face piece. We now have face pieces that we wear on our SCBA for each individual. We used to have one set of gear. Now we are provided with 2 sets of gear, and we wash them way more than we ever have to get the carcinogens out of them. We had open cabs. We thought it was cool to stand up and see the fire before we got there. Fast forward and look around at the amazing equipment that we have. We fast forward and we look at our peer support team that is second to none in our nation. We literally have members of Local 215 who go around the country and teach what we are doing here for peer support, and what we are doing here in the city of Milwaukee for behavioral health with our members of the fire department. Our peer fitness team is second to none as well. All initiatives started by our union, all trained by our union, and I'm very proud of that. Over the last quarter century, we've been moving in the right direction when it comes to safety. We always must remember our fallen and the importance of that safety. When I wrote this last sentence, I said, the burden is heavy, but it's not a burden. The responsibility is heavy, but it's heavy because it's important. We, the members of Local 215, will always remember the names on that memorial behind us and the importance of what we're doing. Tom, Kate, thanks for coming today. Really appreciate it. Thank you all.
men and women of today's fire service are confronted with a more dangerous work environment than ever before. We are forced to continually change our strategies and tactics to accomplish our tasks. Our methods may change, but our goals remain the same, as they were in the past, to save lives and to protect property, sometimes at a terrible cost. This is what we do. This is our chosen profession. This is the tradition of the firefighter. The fire service of today is ever-changing, but it is steeped in traditions 200 years old. One such tradition is the sound of a bell. In the past, as firefighters began their tour of duty, it was the bell that signaled the beginning of the day's shift. Throughout the day and night, each alarm was sounded by a bell, which summoned these brave souls to fight fires and to place their lives in jeopardy for the good of their fellow man. And when the fire was out and the alarm had come to an end, it was the bell that signaled halt the completion of that call. When a firefighter had died in the line of duty, paying the supreme sacrifice, it was the mournful toll of the bell that solemnly announced a comrade's passing. We utilize these traditions as symbols, which reflect honor and respect on those who have given so much and who have served so well. To symbolize the devotion that these brave souls had for their duty, a special signal of 3 rings, 3 times each, represents the end of our comrades' duties, and that they will be returning to quarters. And so, to those who have selflessly given their lives for the good of their fellow man, their tasks completed, their duties well done. To our comrades, their last alarm, they are going home. Please rise. Uniform personnel, okay. Raise and arm. You may be seated. I'd like to ask Pastor Fuller to lead us in the benediction. Pastor Fuller.
Now may the God of peace, who through the blood of the eternal covenant brought back from the dead our Lord Jesus Christ, that great shepherd of the sheep, equip you with everything good for doing his will. And may he work in us what is pleasing to him through Jesus Christ, to whom be glory forever and ever. Amen.
Thank you, Pastor. As we close out today's ceremony, I just want to say one last time, thank you. Thank you to everybody that came to help honor our fallen, and thank you for the continued support of the brave men and women of the Milwaukee Fire Department. With that, I would ask that you rise one last time as our honor guard retrieves the colors. Commander, on your call.
Uniform personnel, 5, 6, 3, 9, 4.
Once again, thank you for coming today. Enjoy the rest of your day.